Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Tonight channel. Paulie Malignaggi believes with the proliferation of world titles in today's day and age, that once a rare accomplishment has lost its luster. Now you're making secondary belts of the same sanctioning body belt. Said Malignaggi, you've got the super title with the WBA and the regular title, but you never see it as two guys fighting each other. At one time, there wouldn't be a demand for the number one and two guys fighting each other, and they would have wanted the fight, or at least the guy with no belt wouldn't have wanted the fight. Now in the everybody gets a belt generation, everybody just says, hey, you know what, I don't have to fight him. I can just parade myself on the network that I fight for as a world champion, and the network that I fight for will call me a world champion. To further expound on his point, Malignaggi looks at Gervonta Davis as a prime example of the mendization characteristics associated with the sport of boxing. Case in point, Showtime calling Gervonta Davis a 3-division world champion, even though he has never won a world title at 135 pounds, and he has never won a world title at 114. He has been a champion at 113 pounds. Davis, 27, has spent the past several years of his career competing in numerous weight classes. Following his 7th-round stoppage win over Jose Pedraza in 2017, Davis successfully wrapped the IBF 113-pound title around his waist. However, since then, Davis has failed to compete for a full-fledged title. In December of 2019, Davis scored a 12th-round stoppage victory over long-faded former champion Yurkis Gamboa. In the process, Davis claimed the vacant WBA regular 135-pound title. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 100 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard, absolutely every day, and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. In 2021, Davis brazenly took on former WBA regular champion Mario Barrios at 140 pounds. Despite struggling early on, Davis managed to find the fight-ending blow in the 11th. As a result, Davis once again captured the secondary world title. Although Davis is constantly referred to as a multiple-division champion, Malignaggi shakes his head in disgust. While the former 2-division champion has the utmost respect for Davis and his overall skill set, he adamantly disagrees with anyone who believes he is a multiple-division champion. This doesn't take away from the fact that he is a very good fighter, but he is not and never has been a world champion in multiple weight classes. Devin Haney plopped into a comfortable chair in his palatial estate and early turned on the action. Last weekend, at the Borgata Hotel Casino in Atlantic City, Gary Russell Jr. attempted to defend his WBC featherweight crown against mandatory challenger Mark Magsayo. Heading in, the long-reigning champion was viewed as a sizable favorite. However, prior to stepping foot inside the ring, Russell Jr. warned his fans that he would not be at his physical best. Still, despite his confession, Russell Jr. assured all who would listen that his pre-fight injury would not be a determining factor in the outcome on his title defense. Early on, Russell Jr. appeared to be fine. His blending speed was still ostensibly there, and there weren't any signs of an injury. However, at the midway point of the 4th round, Russell Jr. grimaced in pain and pointed to his right shoulder. Although ring physicians were concerned for his well-being, Russell Jr. shrugged them off and proceeded to fight Magsayo with only one hand. From the 5th round on, the Maryland product boxer moved and landed numerous left hand throughout the night. Immediately after, he revealed that he suffered a shoulder injury 2 weeks prior to the fight. While he believed he did more than enough to win, he was incredulous as it was announced that his reign had officially come to an end via majority decision. The moment the scorecards were read, Haney couldn't stop himself from laughing. The current WBC lightweight champion peeled onto the jury hit Russell Jr., while simultaneously taking a shot at the newly crowned 126-pound belt holder. Gary Russell lost to a bum, said Devin Haney on his social media account. For the better part of a year and a half, both Russell Jr. and Haney have thrown warning shots at one another over social media. Although they campaigned 2 weight classes apart, Russell Jr. stated on numerous accusations that he would be more than willing to move up to the 135-pound weight division to challenge Haney for his crown. In spite of Russell Jr.'s call-outs, Haney believes the now former champion was never truly interested in facing him. Although a showdown between the pair could become a reality at some point in the future, Haney is focusing almost of his attention on becoming an undisputed champion. The 23-year-old belt holder has consistently and publicly urged current undefeated champion George Kambosos Jr. to face him. Haney has also revealed that he would have no issue with stomping into the Australian backyard of Kambosos Jr. and stripping him of his championship. Negotiations have stalled between undisputed lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr. and Eddie Hearn, promoter WBC belt holder Devin Haney. According to him, Haney isn't happy with the financial package for the Kambosos undisputed fight. Haney, 23, is a terrible option for Kambosos because he's got a boring fighting style, and it won't attract much interest. Hearn thought he'd found gold when he signed Haney a couple of years ago. You can argue that he found the equivalent of fool's gold. Haney isn't going to be the next Floyd Mayweather Jr., and he doesn't attract a lot of interest to his fights in the United States. Maybe if Haney lived in the United Kingdom, he would be popular, but not in the United States. The fighters that are popular states tend to be more entertaining and a possible punching power. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was one of the rare instances in the history of United States boxing where a non-puncher became a star. Most of the time, the light hitters don't become stars in the States, and that's why you got to feel sorry for Hearn, because some believe he's overplaying Haney. Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated reports the news about the Kambosos-Haney fight having stalled. He says that the negotiations are going well between top-rank promoted Vasily Lomachenko and Kambosos, so that's a possibility for the Australians' next fight. Rank Garcia, possibility for Kambosos. Also, Rank Garcia is one of the options for Kambosos. That will be a 2-fight deal in which King Rai and Kambosos will take interim fights in the first half of 2022 and then meet in the second half. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.